What's up, guys? Welcome back to the studio. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at defining a node, specifically giving it a texture. Let's get started. So textures are really very easy in Minetest. Well, for the most part, you're just dealing with 16 by 16 pixel images. But that probably doesn't mean a whole lot to you at the moment. Let's go ahead and get the first tool open that we need, and that would be GIMP. So if you hit your start key, that will pull up the start menu, and then you can type in GIMP. And that should get you into GIMP. While that's loading, let's refresh our memory on the file locations. Files, so this is the only caveat to this process, which can be a little bit tricky. You cannot save your textures directly to the mod folder. So you have to find a layover folder, if you will, and that's going to be the pictures. That probably the most appropriate folder to use. So what we're going to do here is in our pictures folder, we're going to create a new folder called my mod or something like that, just so that it kind of designates that's the purpose of the folder. And then what you're going to want to do is right click on the folder icon and open new window. That way you can have both of these open. It makes it a lot easier when you're moving files around. And then we're going to open up your actual mod folder, go to the textures, and then so now we can drag and drop, if you will. So drag pictures from here to here. So now that GIMP's open, we can head over to the file menu option and click new. This dialog should open up when you open up GIMP for the first time, so you may already have it open. Now, what we're going to do is for our width and heights, we're going to enter 16 by 16. Make sure that your units are set to pixels, and then click OK. And here we are with our picture. Obviously, that's way too small as is to edit it. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the Control key on your keyboard and then use the scroll wheel, and that allows us to zoom in into the much more workable area. Okay, now what we're going to do is we need to pull up a tool to edit this with, right? And the best thing would be the pencil. Just a side note, Control Z is how you go backwards. So if you do something you don't want to, you just press Control Z. So to get to the pencil, again, there's a hotkey, and it's N. So just hit the N key on your keyboard, and that will bring up the pencil. There's also a paintbrush, but you'll notice the paintbrush does more of like a gradient. So depending on if you're in the middle of a pixel or on the edge, whatever, it'll color both, but there'll be a lighter and not the solid color. So typically we want to work with the solid color of the pencil. So each pixel will have that color when we click. So whichever pixel we're on. Now let's, again, Control Z, get rid of that. Now, one other little thing to know is that here's your size of the pencil. So if your pencil might be gigantic, and so you can shrink down the size. The other thing that is gonna be is gonna affect the way your pencil looks, or the end of the pencil, is these options. Make sure you have it to the third from the left, from left top, and that will give you the pixel, and then shrink it down to the right size. And so hopefully you have this dialog over here. So one other thing that might be of use when editing your images, especially if you want to have like some transparency in your image, you might notice that, for instance, when you hit R on your keyboard, you get the rectangle out, make a selection, you press delete, and it doesn't actually delete anything. And in fact, the very base of your image is white. So even if you delete, it'll be white. And let's say that you actually want to have a transparency when you delete, which it's my personal preference. What you're going to do is you're going to click Layer, Transparency, Add Alpha Channel. And that is going to, now when you make a selection and you press delete, where is that delete key? Now you can see that there is this base, it's like this checkerboard that indicates that it's a transparency, or that section is a transparency. Now, if you, of course, want to fill that back in with white, you could use a pencil, or you can use the bucket, Shift B on your keyboard, and then you can fill that selection or section in with whatever color is selected. I think the shift shift click, it does everything that is the primary. There's a way to use the secondary color that you have selected here, but I can't remember. Maybe it's Control. I don't know. Control actually gives you, if you press Control, it allows you to, it gets the dabber, so you can get certain colors off of your image and quickly just throw those into your primary color slot. Okay, so with your paintbrush, now what we're going to do is, as I lost black, we're just going to draw something that we can use for our image, for our block, and I'm going to make it this. And then once I'm done, we're going to come up here to File and click Export As, not Save As. Now, saving as is a valuable. If you intend to make changes in the future, you can click Save As, and it'll save it as an XFC file, which is the GIMP file format. That's great for just saving all of this information about layers and whatnot. But if you just want to save the image and you don't really have any intentions of going back and editing it, or you haven't made an exhaustive amount of changes to it, then I would just click Export As, and then of course we're going to make sure that it is set to, the extension is set to PNG. That's important. And then the naming convention for Minetest as far as pictures is your mod name and then followed by the name of the image. In my case, I'm going to include an underscore just so it kind of separates the text a little bit. And then I'm going to say pick one, pick one, and that's the number 1. I think that'll work. Click export. Oops, wait a minute. Let's make sure that we have selected our pictures folder. And in our pictures folder, which it looks like that wasn't the right pictures folder. Okay, by clicking my home directory first, and then my pictures, there's my mod. And now I can click export. Just keep these settings and then export. So now when I go to my two file explorers, if you will, I can drag this over to here, and now I have it. Now you can see it disappeared from my pictures folder, so you might want to have a copy. I don't know. It's kind of hard to keep track of copies if you're doing that, but if you ever need to edit it, you'd probably want to just drag and move it back. Now the last thing that we need to do is make sure that the name in our init.lua matches this one right here, because you can see here that I have another picture that I made, and it's mymod_node. That is the one that the example, that's the name that the example gave at the beginning, but I changed up the name. So let me show you where to change it. So over here in our node definition, where's my cursor? There it is. In my node definition, register_node, my node, :node. Here we have our tiles attribute, and we have set all of the sides of the block to be this texture, which hopefully this is familiar because we just looked at that, right? mymod_node. That was the other image that I had, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to pick one, and then be sure to save, and let's just see if this works. And voila, there is the texture my_pick1 applied to all sides of the block. Very nice, beautiful block. So that is textures. What I want you to do today is make a texture and add it to your block. Thanks for watching, guys. I will talk to you next time.